Do you want to live longer? Do you want to feel better and be healthier? Do you want to save the planet? My name is Savannah, and I'm going to tell you how to achieve all those things through veganism. Veganism is the absence of animal products in the diet. For my first main point, I'm going to tell you how to live longer. In this study, Blood Pressure Regulation and Vegetarian Diets in 2005 by Susan E. Burkow and Neil D. Bernard, who is a doctor who has written around 8 books on the diet as it relates to illnesses such as obesity, heart disease, and chronic pain and diabetes. In this study, vegetarian Adventists were compared with regular omnivore Adventists and Mormons. These people were compared because they have similar lifestyles. And in this study, they found that mild hypertension was about 9% lower in the lacto-ovo-vegetarians, Adventists, which lacto-ovo means they eat dairy and egg products. And it was 9% lower in the lacto-ovo-vegetarians than it was in the Mormons. And it was also 9% lower in the regular omnivore, same Seventh-day Adventists than the Mormons. Actually, it was not 9% lower, it was about 7% lower. Which is still quite good. So if you want to be very healthy, I suggest you become a Seventh-day Adventist. Anyway. Also in that study, they found that the vegetarians had lower systolic blood pressure. And lower systolic blood pressure, fresh blood pressure, and mild hypertension rates lower heart disease risk, which is the #1 killer in America. So that is one way you can live longer. In another study called the Preparing to Describe Plant-Based Diets for Diabetes Prevention and Treatment by Caroline Trapp, Susan Levine, and it was done in 2012. According to that study, since diabetes is such a huge thing in America right now, they expect the 2.6 million people that about have it right now to double in 2030. And in that study, there was a study between vegan diet for diabetics and a controlled omnivore diet. And in the vegan diet, the portions and the calorie intake and the carbohydrate intake were not monitored. In the omnivore diet, it was. And in that study, they found that need for medication after 22 weeks dropped 43% in the vegan group versus 26% in the conventional diet group, which is pretty amazing, especially for diabetics who need to get off medication because it's a pain in the butt. Okay, so I just told you about living longer. For my next main point, I'm going to tell you about being healthier and feeling better through veganism. In the book, Alchemo's Fundamentals of Microbiology, they talk about parasites and nasty little bacteria that you can get through eating meat, particularly mad cow disease. Now, who wants mad cow disease? Because it turns your brain into Swiss cheese. In humans, it's called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. And bacterial infections you can get from eating meat are Salmonella, Clostridial food poisoning and Staphylococcal food poisoning, which are all, nasty food poisonings. And among the parasites you can get are roundworms from eating pigs and cows and tapeworms. Who wants worms in their diet? Not me. Another thing about being healthier on the vegan diet is if you compare your digestive system or just your physiology from natural predators, you can find that your your small intestine alone is 18 to 21 feet long versus a natural predator's whose is about 6 feet long. Also, natural predators have claws and teeth that they hunt their prey with. We do not. Another thing about what I want to talk to you about was saving the planet. It's my third point. In her book, The Kind Diet, Alicia Silverstone, she has all her sources in the back, says that 50% of the corn growth grown in the U.S. is eaten by animals and 8% is eaten by humans. Also, 60 million acres are used to grow hay for cattle, while 13 million acres are used to produce fruit and vegetables for our consumption. And also, 1.2 billion people in the world do not have enough to eat every day. But for that to make any sense to you, first, I'm going to tell you about Campbell Essential Biology, the 4th edition by Neil A. Campbell, Eric J. Simon, Jane B. Reese, and Jean L. Dickey. And in this book, which is my biology book that I use for my biology, the human population has 10 times more energy available to it when people eat corn than when they process the same amount of corn through another trophic level. Which means if you eat corn as a vegetarian, you can feed 10 vegetarians with the same amount of corn as you would feed 1 cow and 1 vegetarian. Which means if you're a vegan, you can help end world hunger. It's pretty cool. For the end of my speech, I'm going to do a quote from Albert Einstein that says, "Nothing will benefit human health and increase chances of survival for life on Earth as much as the evolution to a vegetarian diet." Now, those are Albert Einstein's words, and we all know he's pretty smart. Now I'm going to take you back to the beginning. Do you want to feel better and be healthier? Do you want to live longer? And do you want to save the planet? If you want to do all those things, you should become vegan. I dare you. Thanks.